Customs and Border Patrol protection. It is one mission to get 100% operational control of the southern border. You want to talk about America First, peace through strength and common sense? It all manifests in one basic phrase down there. Border security is national security. And we had the task of 100% control, and because of these men and women back here, we've achieved that. Nobody is crossing the southern border, and I want to give...
And we'll hold this up. Congratulations. It's an amazing job. Come on around. Come on around. Let's take a good picture. Fantastic job. You guys did a fantastic job. Thank you very much. Great job.
Thank you, Mr. President.
What you've done is unprecedented. How about holding that? You guys hold it up. You deserve it more than me. So I'm going to give you another medal now. So we're going to start. Okay? Thank you. Here you go. It's pretty nice. Want to compare it? Let me see. Compare it. Let me see how that looks. I don't know. That looks pretty good. But that means something very special. What you can do to it around your neck. It's got a nice ribbon. I think you'll like it. It's special. We don't give too many people. Come on over here. Come here. That's four shots. Hey, General, come on over here. You have one. I gave him one. This General right here, General Reason. Great General. Thanks for being here. Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's an honor. This is a fantastic moment. I haven't done this before. And the job they've done on the border is unthinkable. What they left us with, that they would have open borders with millions of people, 25 million people, probably more than that, pouring into our border, totally unchecked and unvetted. Now we have the opposite. And we want people in our country that and they know that. And they know they're not getting through, so now they're going to try. So all of the death that Tom Homan talked about, the rape and the death and all the problem doesn't happen because the caravans, the name I think I came up with, maybe not, but the caravans are very small. In fact, for the most part, they don't even exist anymore because they know they're not going to get it. In a little while, you'll be seeing, I'm suing the BBC for putting words in my mouth, literally, words in my mouth. They had me saying things and then they said, coming out, I guess they used AI or something. So we'll be bringing that lawsuit. A lot of people are asking when you're bringing that lawsuit. Even the media can't believe that one. They actually put terrible words in my mouth having to do with January 6th that I didn't say. And the beautiful words that I said, right? The beautiful words. Talking about patriotism and all of the good things that I said they didn't say that, but they put terrible words. They actually had me speaking with words that I never said. And they got caught because I believe somebody at BBC said, this is so bad it has to be reported. Let's go fake news. So we'll be filing that suit probably this afternoon or tomorrow morning. I want to thank all of you for being here. If you have any questions, I guess you could ask, but this is really a day of celebration for these people. The job they've done is really unprecedented. So go ahead.
On University, Mr. President, do you know what the motive of the shooting was? Was it a targeted attack?
That's moving along now, and we don't, and we're going to see what happens. Hopefully they're going to capture this animal. Hopefully they're going to capture it.
Has Cash Patel told you why it's been so difficult for the FBI to identify who the shooter is?
Well, it's always difficult. So far, we've done a very good job of doing it. With Charlie, with the various times this has happened, they've done it in pretty much record time. But you really have to ask the school a little bit more about that, because this was a school problem. They had their own guards, they had their own police, they had their own everything. But you'd have to ask that question really to the school, not to the FBI. We came in after the fact. And the FBI will do a good job, but they came in after the fact.
Do you know if it was targeted, Mr. President?
No, they don't know that yet, no.
So, on the issue of drugs, is it anything that you are considering in order to reclassify marijuana?
We are considering that, because a lot of people want to see it, the reclassification, because it leads to tremendous amounts of research that can't be done unless you reclassify. So we are looking at that very strongly.
Mr. President,
Okay.
is it true that the reports that you reviewed during your Prime Minister, are the reports that you reviewed with the Israeli Prime Minister that the killing of Hamas general true, and is Israel undermining the efforts to be a peacemaker?
No, Israel and I have gotten along very well. He's working on it. He's a strong man. And no, this had nothing to do with the Syrian government. This had to do with ISIS. As a response, they'll be hit hard, yeah.
Javier Negre, Las Voice en Español. First of all, thanks for honoring
Thank
these
you.
heroes. The communists have lost Chile. The pro-Trump candidate, José Antonio Cast, won the elections. Do you think this right-wing wave in the Spanish world is due to your influence?
Well, we just had a good one in Honduras, as you know. Had a great election there. I endorsed somebody that was not leading, and he won the election. And we had a good one just a couple of hours ago, I found out, in Chile. The person I endorsed, who was not leading, ended up winning quite easily. So I look forward to paying my respects to him. I hear he's a very good person. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President. This year you fired Democrats from a number of federal agencies, and now going into 2026, there are some key regulators like the SEC, the CFTC that are going to have 0 Democrats. Do you plan to appoint Democrats to fill those empty spots, or do you think that federal agencies shouldn't have Democrat commissioners?
Well, do you think they would be appointing Republicans if we're up to that? So, we'll look at it. Look, we want to be fair, but typically they're not appointing Republicans. So you're asking me the question whether or not I'd appoint Democrats. But there are certain areas that we do look at, and there are certain areas that we do share. And share power, and I'm open to that, please.
Mr. President, a number of Republicans have denounced your statement on Truth Social after the murder of Rob Reiner. Do you stand by that post?
Well, I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned. He said, like he knew it was false. In fact, it's the exact opposite, that I was a friend of Russia, controlled by Russia. It was the Russia hoax. He was one of the people behind it. I think he hurt himself in career-wise. He became like a deranged person, Trump derangement syndrome. So I was not a fan of Rob Reiner at all, in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was very bad for our country, yeah.
Mr. President, Leader Thune doesn't seem like he wants to get rid of blue slips. Will there be consequences for the Senate?
Well, I think they should get rid of blue slips because as a Republican president, I am unable to put anybody in office having to do with U.S. attorneys or having to do with judges. In other words, if you have one, not two, you don't need two, just one. If you have one Democrat senator, where we have a lot of them, you have one Democrat senator in the state, it is not possible to appoint, because of blue slips, a judge. It's not possible to appoint the U.S. attorney. You see that happening. And I think it's a disgrace. I think blue slips are a disgrace. They've long since, they should not be relevant anymore. This is a different world than it was 50
New phones, they're too damn expensive. Every year it's a new phone, new camera, maybe slightly better specs.
This is a little bit different, unfortunately. Yeah, please.
What do you want to see Congress do this week as it relates to healthcare, Aspire,
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd like to see the people get the money. I'd like to see all of the money that's going to the Democrat insurance companies. You know, the insurance companies are making a fortune. They're up 1,700% and more. And they're taking in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, even trillions of dollars. And Obamacare gives you terrible health care. Just so you understand, Obamacare was set up, and I said it right from the beginning, for the benefit of the health insurance companies, of the insurance companies. They're making billions and billions of dollars. Their stock is through the roof. I don't want to give anything. I want all money going to the people and let the people buy their own health care. It'll be unbelievable. They'll do a great job. They'll get much better health care at a much lower cost.
Would you like Republicans next year to just use reconciliation to do the healthcare exactly what we laid out, and they wouldn't have to worry about Democrats' votes?
Well, that would knock out the filibuster. If you knocked out the filibuster, it would all go away. But we have a few people that wouldn't do that. It's crazy. Look, we should knock out the filibuster. And if you did that, we'd get voter ID. You'd have no mail-in voting. All things that make our elections dishonest. And you'd get a lot of other things having not even to do with voting. But Republicans should knock out the filibuster. We should approve a lot of things. You wouldn't have January 30th looming because you have the 30th of January looming. You know that. Right? And if we knocked out the filibuster, it would be just a simple approval. But you have some Republicans that they're unable to explain why. You know, if you ask them why, they're unable to explain. They cannot win the debate. But they should knock out the filibuster. And frankly, they should get rid of the blue slips too. Yeah.
Mr. President, the Democrats won Miami when they won the election 1 year ago. Do you think it's because of Hispanic media like Telemundo that are publishing fake news about the ICE operations? How do you plan to win back those votes for midterms?
Yeah, well, I won that whole election, and you know, it's interesting. When I'm not running, we don't do as well. And I'm going to try and get that change for the midterms. But we did have a big win in Tennessee, as you know. Matt Van Epps had a big win in Tennessee against a very strong candidate, attractive candidate, who a lot of people thought would do very well. And Matt won by a lot. And I won Tennessee by a real lot. You know, we had a great election. We won every single swing state. We won the popular vote. We won everything. And there's a thing that they have in our districts, which is a big deal. I think in a way it's the most important stat from the standpoint of, you know, looking at numbers accurately. So out of thousands of districts, I won 2,750 versus 525. Think of that, 2,750 versus 525. It was great. That's why the map, when you see a map of the election, it's all red, other than two little narrow lines on the other side. Please. I feel so badly. I spoke to President Xi about it, and I asked to consider his release. He's not well. He's an older man and he's not well, so I did put that request on. Okay?
Now that the meeting is in Berlin and